Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well. Out about another bike review today. I'm on a Ducati, and it's not any old Ducati, but the Scrambler 1100. I haven't ridden a Scrambler for something like 5 years. They've come a long way since they first came out, so stick around, stay tuned. I'll give you my first impressions review. Now, I say I haven't ridden a Scrambler for about 5 years. That may be a slight exaggeration. I can't quite remember when the original Scrambler brand came out from Ducati, but when it came out with the 900cc machine, that's the machine I rode. And I wasn't that taken by it, I have to say. I felt it was a little bit toy-like, and I found the mix of sort of retro and modern a bit odd. However, the big 1100cc machine, very much addresses that toy-like thing. As soon as you jump on it, it just feels a much bigger and much more serious bike. This particular machine is fitted with the Terminioni full system. It's been decatted as well, so it's got an amazing bark about it. Sounds fabulous. I'm just going to take it up here. This is the A34, fairly major road outside of Abingdon. Just going to see what she's like on faster roads while I've got the chance to have a go on this bit of dual carriageway. Here's of course a naked bike, no fairings on the Scrambler, so you are subject to wind blast, and I'm very used to riding naked bikes. It's absolutely no issue on here. You do get quite a lot of wind, of course, across your torso, across your shoulders and on your legs, because there's not much on the front of this bike in terms of frontal area. You just have to hang on basically. But no surprises there that there's not a great deal of weather protection, but that's just the nature of the bike. In terms of power, this thing has got loads of go. I'll go through the spec when we do the walk around in the usual way a little bit later. But if you do have to do faster roads, then this has just got absolutely loads of grunt. No problem keeping up with traffic on this. But anyway, that's quite enough for these sorts of roads. This sort of bike is not built for this sort of road. So let's get off this. Let's find some slightly more minor roads and go through some of the basics on the bike. Right, I'm off the main road now, so let's just check when I stop here what it's like in terms of getting my feet on that. Here we are. I'm on the balls of my feet either side. Bike doesn't feel heavy or ponderous or anything like that. In fact, I'm almost flat-footed. I'm 5'8" with a 32-inch leg, so I'm not a big chap, and I can get my feet easily on the deck. Doesn't feel at all like you're going to drop it or anything like that. Very confidence-inspiring bike. Really wide handlebars on here as well, so loads of leverage. Beautiful in the cornering. And I have to say, already I've been way more impressed with this bike than I was the smaller version of it all those years ago, which, as I say, I never really gelled with, whereas this I absolutely love. Amazing acceleration out of this engine, as you'd expect. Sounds fantastic, yet feels nice and light. I was lucky enough recently to ride the big Triumph Scrambler, the 1200, which I guess this is a competitor to. And although I'm a massive Triumph fan, I have to say I think I prefer this to ride. Right, let's hang a right down here. Really busy today, unfortunately, lots of traffic about. I see Think Biker sign on the back of that car, obviously a motorcycling fan, good man or lady. Something about this bike that the Triumph perhaps is lacking is this one has got character, and I mean that in a good way, in that there's, you know, the big old V-twin on this. You can feel it rumbling away underneath you. It kind of feels alive. Reminds me more of the feeling you get when you ride the BMW R9T Scrambler, which also has character in a good way. You don't get vibes through the handlebars and stuff that are annoying. It just makes you remember that you're riding a motorcycle. It's not too clinical that it's taken out all the character. I like that about it. I love this riding position. As I mentioned, these wide handlebars, it just makes it very easy to ride. In terms of the seat and the seating position, your legs are tucked up a little bit sporty, I suppose, in that my knees are at an acute angle, but I'm sitting completely upright. I'm leant forward barely at all, and to me it feels a relatively large bike, whereas, as I say, the smaller Scramblers felt a little bit Scramblers felt a little bit toy-like to me. This one doesn't feel like that. So if you're a bigger person, this bike is definitely going to be more suited to you. Another change on this, the 1100 over the smaller Scramblers, is the display here. Got this extra sort of bolt-on digital display. Not sure whether I like that or not. It's off-centre and it's all very modern. It's pretty clear. Not quite convinced whether I like that or not, but we'll see as I ride it a bit more. It was very flickable and light, this. Right, let's pull over here. I'll show you around the bike and I'll talk you through the spec in the usual way before we ride us some more. Where can I stick her? Let's pop her just here. No, actually, I'll turn around so I can get the sun in the right position. Sounds epic, this bike. That should be perfect. Alrighty. Neutral, very easy to find. Stand, again, nice and easy to find. Make sure it's not disappearing at the soft ground. And off she goes. And I'm glad to say it's not keyless. That keyless ignition sometimes I do wonder about. Here we go then. The 2019 Ducati Scrambler 1100. This bike is completely standard except for the terminal-only pipes. And this one actually, although it's the demo bike from Blade here at Abingdon, this one has done something like 1100 miles, so it's in amazing condition, given it has done well over 1,000 miles already. I mean, things like these pipes on here look absolutely incredible. Sometimes one of my criticisms of Ducati is that the pipes rust up very quickly. Well, these certainly haven't. They've just got that lovely purple hue about them. Anyway, enough gushing. Let me get the other camera out and I'll walk around the bike, talk you through the spec in the usual way. Okay, here we go then, the Scrambler 1100. Cute looking bike this. I just think it looks so much better in the grey than that yellow that the original Ducati Scramblers were in. Let's just show you some of the fit and finish on here, because that's one of the things that struck me about the bike when I first jumped on. It just feels like a quality bike now. Not that it didn't before particularly, but just things like this headlight here, just the detail in there looks really nice. Stuff like, look at that, as I say, the exhaust pipes, just the way that is done, and the shiny engine cases appeal to me as well. These termies on the back, I mean, this bit of machining on the back here, it looks like a bit of jewellery, really nicely done. And that's the standard seat as well for the 1100. Really nice looking bike, I think. Alright, to the spec then, the engine, 1079cc V-twin, not sure what they call this. They come up with all sorts of names, don't they, Ducati, for their engines, Testostrettas and what have you. Not sure which one this is, but anyway, 1079cc, putting at 85 brake horsepower and 65 foot-pounds of torque. All I can say is it sounds like it's got prodigious amounts of power. It's got no lack of power, this bike. You don't need any more than it's got. Let's have a look at the front brakes on here. Proper brakes. Brembos, as you can see, and these are proper Brembos as well, on twin 320mm discs, 4-pot calipers on there. At the back, 245mm disc with a single pot Brembo as well, as you can see, and they seem to work really well. Suspension on the front, massive 48mm upside down forks on here. There's a sport version of this you can get that has Olin suspension. These are just the standard ones. These are 45mm adjustable Marzocchis on the front, and at the back you've got Kayaba suspension on this, the standard bike, as I say. Here we go. I love the way that they put the spring in that position, just looks really good. But again, on the sport version, I think you get Olins on the back as well, but these feel absolutely fine. The seat I mentioned, this lovely stitching on here, 810mm, so nice and low, so if you're a shorty like me, no problem at all. Weight of the bike, 206 kilograms, and it feels nice and light, as I say, when you're on it. It doesn't feel, I mean, 206 kilograms doesn't sound particularly light, does it? But it feels a lot lighter than that when you're actually riding it. The tank capacity on here, 15 litres. Which is pretty good, I suppose, for a bike of this type, about normal, and looks really nice again. Love the fit and finish, the way they've done that, particularly on this grey bike. Electronics, it's got the Bosch IMU, so lean, sensitive ABS and traction control. It's got self-cancelling indicators, 3 riding modes, active, journey and city. We'll see if we can play with those a bit later, and I just think it looks really nice. Price of these, good news, from, according to the website, 10,695. I think that's quite a lot of bike for that money. 10,695. What else to say about it? Comes, as I say, in standard, special and sport versions. This is the special with the chrome exhaust, brown seat and the spokes, and the sport has the Olin suspension, as I say, for another about 1,600 quid, I think that is. There we go. So that's the basic spec, but so much talking about it, I just want to jump back on her and ride her some more. She is a really nice piece of kit. Right, let's get back on then and see what else we can learn about her. Yeah, definitely a feel-good bike, this. I think, you know, one of the most important things about a motorcycle is how it makes you feel to ride it, doesn't it? And this, the character of this, the sound, the quality of the build, the way it makes you feel when you ride is top notch. I've been very impressed with this, as you can already tell. Alrighty, let's fire up then. Stand is up, we're in neutral. It's got that classic lazy Ducati start. It's a bit like, I own a Panigale myself, and it always sounds like it doesn't want to start, but it always does. Same here. The dash here, let's just have a little look at that. It's got everything you need on it, including a proper fuel gauge, I'm glad to say. This one, it's got, as I say, 3 riding modes. We're in journey mode at the moment, which is kind of the standard mode, if you like. And to change the power modes, I think you hit this button here. I think you hold it. There we go. And then I can use the button here on the left. Go up to, let's go to active, hold the button again. Right, there we go, I'm in active. It should stop flashing in a minute. Right, there we go, so now I'm in active mode, which is the most Larry mode, if you like. Oh, sun's coming out, excellent. Alright, nothing around, let's carry on. Now I'm going to have loads of comments, people saying I should have turned left there. I often ride this route when I come and test bikes from the dealers down here. I'm at Blade in Abingdon, and people say, oh, why don't you carry on down that road? There's some amazing routes to ride down there, but I don't know the area very well. I don't want to get lost, basically. Thank you. But I do know where this goes. Tell you what, for a bike that hasn't got, you know, we're not in the hundreds of horsepower, it feels really lively. They've got it tuned so all the grunt is low down, exactly where you want it. It feels a lot more lively than things like the R9T Scrambler, and indeed the Trance Scrambler as well, the big new 1200. Right, just one behind this car, nothing behind me, let's just check the brakes. Yeah, the fronts are lovely, those big old Brembos, and let's just try the rear with nothing behind me. That rear's not that great actually, but they never are on bikes, are they? I don't know why we accept that rear brakes on bikes aren't good, but there we go. I mean, they're adequate, but there we are. We tend to use the front one anyway, don't we? Lovely and flickable. The tyres on here, although they look sort of knobbly, they're ones that are basically styled for this sort of bike. They feel absolutely fine on the road. They're sort of 80% on road, probably all right for a bit of light green laning, if indeed you're going to take your Scrambler off-road. I can't imagine too many of these will be taken off-road. It's more of a Sunday afternoon ride, I think. Rather sadly, up at the head of this queue of traffic there's a hearse. I always feel a little bit, don't know if you're the same, I always feel a little bit guilty about overtaking hearses. Feels a bit disrespectful, doesn't it? But in this case I feel like I should. It's because I've got a road test to do. Lovely light clutch on here. One waiting for a clear stretch of road. Let's do some more of the practicalities. So the mirrors on here, massive, don't vibrate at all, good view behind. They look quite nice actually, quite like this design. I suppose, is that a pentagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, actually it's hexagonal, albeit not regular, but they work really well. No vibration transmitted through there. Okay, got a little clear patch here. And these are the sorts of roads that this type of bike are made for, really. Sunday afternoon scratching around the lanes. This is a particularly bad surface on this road, I have to say. So it's a good test for the suspension on here, which is nice and soft. It's not so soft that it's wallowy, it means it won't handle around the corners. But it's not so bone jarringly hard that, you know, it rattles your teeth out of their sockets. Man, I love these pipes. I think if I was going to get one of these, I'd definitely get that pipe fitted. Ducatis and Termignonis just go so well together, don't they? The seat on here, as you saw, nice and long, so you can move either, you know, forward or aft on it, depending on, you know, how big a person you are. So you've got plenty of opportunity to get comfortable, and it's well padded as well. It's a nice and comfy ride. Too mad because it is a 50-mile-an-hour limit, but yeah, it's a bike that's just urging me to ride on. I don't know if that's because I've got it in the active riding mode now. It just feels a bit more urgent, but yeah, really, really nice. I'm very impressed with this, as you can tell. So I must just take this opportunity to thank the guys up at Blade Motorcycles in Abingdon for lending me the bike and making this review possible. If you've not been up to Blade and you're in the area, then do pay them a visit. A great place to go, massive showroom. Not only are they a Ducati dealer, but also Kawasaki, Honda, and there's a Harley Davidson dealer, which I must befriend next door as well, which is also Blade, so all part of the same deal, I think. But do go and check them out if you're in there. As I say, there's loos there, there's a coffee machine, so if it's a cold day you can have a warm up as well and fuel up and defuel. So worth a ride out just to look at some spangly new bikes if nothing else. I love the way this exhaust pops when you change down and come off the throttle, brilliant. Crikey, I've chosen a busy day today. Feels like this machine would be a wheelie monster if you're that way inclined. I only do wheelies when something has gone terribly wrong, but if you are a wheelie person, I'm sure this would be the bike for you, with this massive leverage and the powerful engine. Absolute hooligan bike. Oh, a grey van to get by now. Gearbox is beautifully smooth on here, as you'd expect of a new bike. Right, nothing coming. Man, it's got a very rapid pickup on here. Accelerates like a banshee, it's brilliant. To me, it feels much faster than the Ducati Scrambler, even though that's 1200cc, and much faster than the R9Ts as well. Although I can't fully test it on this road because I'm still in a 50-mile-an-hour limit. It doesn't feel like there's, you know, there is a limit to the power. It doesn't suddenly run out of puff when you get to 60. It just seems to want to go. So I really like the way it does its power delivery. Might have to have a chat to my friends at Ducati UK and see if I can borrow one of these long term, because I'd like to get to know this bike better. It's all very well having these short sort of test rides, you can get a basic feel, but you really need a bit longer to live with the bike to really understand how well you get on with it. At the moment, I can't really see anything about the bike that I don't like. I always try and, if I can, nitpick on these reviews and let you know not only the good things but the bad things I can find as well. And there's not really anything about this bike that I don't like. I think maybe, I'm not sure about this display, it's very clear and it's got everything you need, so I'm loath to criticise it, but I'm not sure whether I like that styling. I think I might prefer if there were like twin dials on here, even if they were still LCD. I think that would fit better with the style of bike perhaps. I guess if there's anything I don't like about the bike, it's still in my mind that sort of juxtaposition which feels a little bit uncomfortable for me between the modern and retro styling. I mean, it's not meant to be a retro bike, I don't think. It's obviously harps back to styling of bikes from the past. This very much feels like a modern bike, and it's got all those modern styling cues like the finish on that exhaust that I showed you, and things like the display here, very, very modern. But I think for me the standout features I'm going to take away after this ride is how the bike sounds with those pipes. It just sounds brilliant. The amount of instant shove it's got, the ease of ride, the nice wide handlebars, the fact that you can chuck it around the corners if you want to. It really is a lovely, non-intimidating but great fun ride, and all that adds up to putting a big old grin on your face, and that's the most important thing with a bike, isn't it? How they make you feel. And this one really does make you feel good. I like this a lot. I came into this ride with fairly low expectations because I wasn't a fan, as I mentioned, of the original Scrambler. Let's just get through here. This is a great bike if you want to weave through traffic as well, because it's nice and tall. You can see where you're going, and it's got great leverage with those big bars. But yeah, so I wasn't expecting much from this review because I didn't like the original Scrambler very much, but this 1100 has really bought me over, so to speak. Won me over. That's the phrase I was looking for. Excellent. Little de-restricted portion. Let's give her a go. Yeah, really confidence inspiring bike this. Very, very nice. If you like the Scrambler genre and you've not considered the Ducati Scrambler 1100, then I very much suggest you put it on your list. A lovely bike to ride, listen to and look at. So big thumbs up from me to Ducati for the Scrambler 1100. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. If this is the first time you've been to my channel, it'd be great to have you along. If you'd hit that subscribe button. I don't just do bike reviews, but I do how-tos, I do bits and pieces in the garage, I do the odd live stream, I do bike news, I do trips and tours, basically anything and everything to do with motorcycles. I like to cover it here on the Missenden Flyer. It'd be great to have you along. I put up at least 2 videos a week on Mondays and Thursdays, usually a whole lot more, but it would be great to have you along. Right, that's it for now then. Until next time, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.